welcome to my channel. My name's Allie and this is my dog Simon. We own a cottage that's 200 years old in the Vermont countryside, and right now it is early August, which is just a beautiful time of year in Vermont. It's so lush and so green here. We still get quite a bit of rain this time of year, and it just keeps everything from getting a little bit too crispy, which is perfect. Today is a beautiful August day, and I thought we'd do a little antiquing together, go for a country drive and look at some of the wildflowers in bloom and the scenery. And then towards the end of the day, once the bees have started to go to sleep, make a flower arrangement together with some cuttings from the garden. Let's hop in the car and hit the road. Good morning. So it's now the next day. We didn't end up going out in the garden last night to pick flowers because about halfway through dinner, I realized our oven, that is only a couple years old, completely stopped working and wasn't heating up at all to bake the pizza bean dish that I was making, which is basically like beans and tomatoes and kale and celery and onion and carrots, and you chop them all up to kind of make like a tomato stew type thing and put the beans in, and then you put cheese on top. And well, it does not replace pizza. The flavor is really similar to that of pizza. If I'm able to find the recipe online, I'll try to share it in the description below. But it's pizza beans, and Smitten Kitchen pizza beans actually, and it's really, really delicious. I'd highly recommend, and a great way to get in your beans and your vegetables, especially when we have so many delicious vegetables at this time of year. I think it'd be great if you swapped in like zucchini or squash or other things as well. So anyways, I thought I was baking that in the oven. It turns out the oven was completely cold. So we're gonna have someone come help service it soon and check things out. Luckily the stovetop is still working, and we do have a toaster oven, and so we just ended up taking smaller portions of dinner and heating it up in the toaster oven, which was completely fine. And yeah, so it's now the next morning, and I thought I'd take you out this morning instead. Alright, let's head out to the garden. Here's how the garden's looking this morning. We've had a lot of rain and windstorms lately, and you can see that some of the flowers are starting to fall over. I bought these new stakes that have this bendy part at the top so that you can kind of wrap it around the plants. I started to put one in place here, but I thought we'd just try to pick most of the ones that are bending over for now, and then I'd put the stakes in place for the ones that haven't fallen over yet but are starting to get quite leggy. But wow, what a gorgeous day. wanted this bouquet to feel really wild and light and airy, and so I'm starting my arrangement with a trick where you basically create an irregular triangle, and these first stems are the first point of the triangle, which are really high and upright. And then the second point of the triangle will be kind of wide and a little bit lower. And the third point of the triangle will be really low and down by the neck of the vase. And you'll see I'm kind of building on this form as I continue to add more flowers. And one of the tricks to get the flowers to stay into place is, as you're creating this, try to create a grid with the flower stems where you are crossing them over each other as you're placing them in, and using your sturdiest stems or flowers to help create this format that will allow you to weave in and out the other flowers. And it's a great alternative to using something like chicken wire or flower foam. I've started my arrangement using my main focal flower because they have the thickest stems, which is the brown-eyed Susans. And now I'm adding in my filler, which is a flowering oregano that just smells so beautiful at this time of the year, and we also use for drying as a culinary herb. And then for an additional pop of color, I'm adding in some purple coneflower that have a really similar shape but are a little bit smaller than the brown-eyed Susan, and just kind of help round things out. While I'm arranging, I also really love using vases that are a little bit tighter at the neck, and I find it easier because it gives me more control over how much I want the flowers to splay out. And now I'm adding the finishing touches and filling in some gaps and enhancing the gaps in some areas. If you think of a wildflower meadow, there's a lot of negative space between the flowers, and that's exactly the type of feeling I want to evoke here. I don't want it to feel too tight and too formal. And that's our final arrangement. Let's go and put her inside.